Tonight on PhillyCAM Voices, we have a segment on bilingual education at Southwark Elementary, a conversation about placemaking building in Philadelphia's Black queer community, a segment on the heart of surfing, and an in-studio with Michael Grant. I'm your host, Veda Lakshminarayanan.
You don't want to miss this one.
As back-to-school season rolls around, we begin with a segment featuring Southwark Elementary, a school in East Passyunk that sets the standard for multilingual education and community service. We'll hear from Southwark's bilingual educators and administration about just some of the ways they show up for their students and neighborhood. Southwark Elementary School is a public school in South Philly that serves students from kindergarten to 8th grade with the option of a pre-K program. Southwark is known not just as a school, but a resource for the neighborhood of East Passyunk. Southwark hosts a community school coordinator appointed by the City of Philadelphia, along with various social workers who are dedicated to supporting students, their families, and neighbors of the school. Southwark Elementary is one of 20 such community schools in the City of Philadelphia.
My name is Karenin Loinaz. I am from Puerto Rico. I lived in Philly since I was 14, and I teach at Southwark School in the dual language program, 5th and 6th grade, literacy and social studies.
Around half of Southwark students are English language learners, most of whom are Latina, Spanish-speaking students. Of its several services for immigrant families, one thing that makes the school so unique is its dual language program, which immerses students in a bilingual learning setting, catering to English and Spanish language learners.
I have been teaching for about 16 years now. I started teaching high school Spanish, did that for about 8 years, and then I found out about this awesome program that allows for students to learn in both English and in Spanish, and it was something that I've always been interested in terms of the bilingual education. So for the last 6 years, I've been teaching middle school. In my opinion, bilingual education can be very useful for the community because it can give children a sense of belonging that maybe they wouldn't have if they were somewhere where people didn't speak the language. We're giving them an opportunity to learn in their native language or in their parents' native language, and with that, creating a space where children can continue to develop, not only speaking two languages, but also learning about two different cultures. El programa bilingüe que tenemos aquí en Southwark es fenomenal porque les da la oportunidad a los estudiantes de poder comunicarse en los dos idiomas, pero es un programa que beneficia mucho porque los estudiantes tienen la oportunidad de comunicarse de maneras diferentes y aprender destrezas que les pueden ayudar cuando estén fuera de la escuela. Puede ser algo que te puede abrir muchas puertas.
With plenty of Spanish-speaking educators and faculty, the school models honest connection with students and families.
My name is Rose. I am originally from Puerto Rico. I've been at Southwark since 2019. I started bringing my kids here, and then I started doing volunteer work as a parent. And then I started working for the temporary agency that places people here in the schools, and that is how I ended up working for the School District of Philadelphia. I support these families who come in to register the kids. So my bilingual skills are certainly utilized every single day. My accent came back. This is home for me. What makes it special to me is the incredibly diverse student body. We have students from all walks of life, from many, many different types of backgrounds and cultures, languages. So we are a community school, and we have a lot of partners who work alongside us to help the community. One of the examples that I can give is we have a food pantry. Sometimes our families depend on school lunches for food for their children. So during the summer, there's no full-time school. Families can stop by the school every other week or so to pick up food for their families. We also have another partner called Migranet that helps our migrant families kind of adjust to Philadelphia, how the school system works. We are very, very busy with outreach and community services here. La escuela Southwark es muy especial. Tenemos muchos lenguajes aquí en nuestra escuela, incluyendo español. Aquí tenemos personal, estudiantes y muchas organizaciones que hablan el lenguaje de español. Son familias que están buscando apoyo en su lenguaje de español, aquí estamos para ayudar. Algunas veces vienen familias que no pertenecen a esta escuela, pero saben de nosotros y vienen aquí a asesorarse, a buscar. Yo como mamá, cuando empecé a matricular a mis hijos en la escuela, no sabía nada. Y familias que vienen de otros países para matricular a sus hijos, aquí estamos para ayudar en esa capacidad, en su lenguaje. Es muy importante para nuestras familias que tengan ese apoyo.
My name is Andrew Lukov. I'm the principal of Southwark School, and I'm a native Philadelphian. We're a community school, and when that opportunity came along, it was something that myself and our team felt like would be perfect for us because we were so community facing. And this allows us to have the resources and the capacity to do the work that we want to, such as providing food, diapers, formula for people in the community, solve day-to-day problems that serve as barriers for our students and our families. Opportunities like that are important. One of the things that we recognize is we are a multilingual school. So within our school we have a bilingual program, a two-way immersion program. The other piece of that is we recruit and make sure that we have many bilingual staff. Both of our secretaries are Spanish speaking, so when families come in, there's language access and they feel comfortable and they're able to do everything they can to be advocates for their children.
Hola, buenos días. Pueden pasar y firmar y recibir su número con el señor de Pedina y vamos a estar llamando los números.
By embracing multilingualism in a local community, Southwark offers outstanding academic opportunities for its student body and has made itself home for many. Reporter Lamont Nathaniel Gibson spoke to Jaulie Cantave about Black queer community building in Philadelphia, highlighting efforts around HIV awareness and spotlighting organizations and festivals that support and uplift while actively challenging stigma. Let's see what they had to say.
Today, I will be speaking with Jaulie Cantave. She, they pronouns. She has a background in education, activism, and public health. Welcome, Jaulie.
Thank you, Lamont, for having me.
What would queer, Black queer community and placemaking look like in Philadelphia?
There are so many ways that we've been doing this for decades in Philadelphia, especially with the ballroom scene, which a lot of people argue started in Philadelphia with houses, especially dealing with a lot of Black queer folks dealing with homelessness and poverty in those early days of the ballroom scene. So the ballroom scene literally served as a way to live and survive, especially in a place where no one wanted to hire you and no one wanted to interact with you. If you don't want to invite us, we will create it ourselves. And it will be amazing. And it'll be so great that you guys will want to copy it or you guys will want to do it too. And so I think that comes up in Philly Black Pride, still thriving and every single year getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and incorporating new voices, incorporating new campaigns like the Philly Safe campaign, which is stay aware, focused, and empowered about HIV and how it impacts our community, specifically the Black community, not even just the Black queer community, because HIV impacts all the Black community in Philadelphia.
In what ways does the Philly Safe campaign incorporate art, music, and storytelling to provide HIV awareness and prevention within the Black queer community?
I have seen some of the Philly Safe campaigns already, and I'm loving them because they feel very just like real people, like real Black queer folks that I would see out and about in the city really having conversations about HIV and how it impacts us and how devastating it is to our community. And I really liked how they've taken a much more approachable tone in that way, because sometimes what I witnessed at Colors, and even before I was at Colors, was that a lot of the times when we get HIV education, sometimes it can come from, or a lot of times it comes from universities or research institutes, which are amazing and absolutely integral to the work that we do. But in that way, sometimes it can be ostracizing and even reinforce attributes of white supremacy with the language that they use or the marketing that they use.
How does the Black Quantum Futurism Collective utilize Afrofuturist principles to engage the Black community and re-engaging and shaping their neighborhoods in the face of gentrification.
I remember my professor teaching us about this specifically in relation to our lens into Octavia Butler in college, and feeling like, yeah, a lot of the Black experience does feel like otherworldly in a sense, and yeah, futuristic in many ways. It can be jarring in many ways. So I really like how this movement, this initiative, is a part of combining the past and the future, and how the past and the future are our present. And so one of the initiatives that I've seen from Black Quantum Futurism?
Yeah, Black Quantum Futurism.
One of my favorite initiatives from the Black Quantum Futurism collective is the oral storytelling. So they invite people from North Philly, from the neighborhoods that have been severely gentrified in the past couple years, to tell their stories of North Philly, to tell their stories of their lives, which is so powerful, because not only does it advocate for our voices, but it also advocates for our very ancestral practice of oral storytelling, especially something that has been denigrated through white supremacy, because the white supremacist outlook is that if it's not written down, then it's not important, or if you can't write, then that means that you don't have levels of intelligence, which is not true. And so in this way, it's just so anti-racist, so anti-colonialist, and so empowering to really put the people who are impacted by this, their voices are at the forefront.
The Juice Festival role? Mm-hmm. What is the significance of Juice Festival in promoting cultural expression and unity within the Black queer community? And how does it differ from mainstream Pride events?
I think it differs from mainstream Pride events mostly because of its art collective unit. It really truly is about sharing art, as well as experiencing art, as well as creating art, and it's a lot less about that's really the main thing. It really is about art. They have so many workshops for sewing, for physical activity, for singing, for dancing, so many different things, as well as things, African dancing, et cetera, like so many different ways to express yourself. And we know through years of research from the National Institute of Health, from the CDC, clearly stating that arts programs literally help people to heal in so many ways. There's so much research behind it. They help you to understand your emotions and your empathy, and especially when Black folks and Black queer folks are silenced so much in every way, it's so powerful for our healing to also be a part of our social activism and social justice. And that's what the Sweet Juice Festival really is, like using the arts, sharing our arts, and then growing and healing from it. And it's just really so interesting to me too, how each different initiative or organization, from our past to our future, each different initiative, even if we're not directly interacting with each other, we have the same, we have that same just need to connect, and to know that one of the main ways to break out of the bonds of slavery that we still live in every single day is that we must be connected with each other. We must talk to each other. We must have that love and that respect, and make art, make lots of art, because art transcends language, it transcends cultures, and it lives on in a way that other things cannot do.
In this segment, Tim Milloway and Tom Coyle visit Ocean City, New Jersey to introduce the most deserving surfers you will ever meet. Heart of Surfing is an organization that brings joy to individuals with autism and other developmental disabilities by hanging 10 at the beach.
Heart of Surfing is an organization that's just about community, connectivity, inclusiveness, and confidence. It's about allowing people with disabilities, all levels and all ages, to come together and have a place, a community, where they can have recreational opportunities.
Surfing is fun. My favorite is to get the big waves. It's so cool. You can see the big waves and then you get under. It's so much fun.
It's fun.
Feel good.
My son loves the water.
He loves the beach and the ocean. He goes in. I think it's a sensory processing thing for him. He enjoys the movement of the surfboard and the movement of the waves. He also swims on a Special Olympic swim team.
We started in 2014, and at that time she was afraid of the water, so I was a little nervous that would she even go in. But through the years, she's really progressed quite a bit. The first few times she stood up and just her confidence growing was really, really remarkable.
I am getting better. I'm trying to get a pro. Do you know Bethany Hamilton from The Shark? I want to be like her one day.
She hops right out of bed in the morning. It's a surfing day, Mom.
It really began for our son, Jamie, who at the time was about maybe 15 years old, and he was struggling. He didn't have a lot of friends. He had no friends, like social interactions. He liked to go surfing with his father. We thought maybe we'd invite some other kids that are on the spectrum to come out and experience the waves too. So we got some volunteers together, and we invited about 5 families that we knew, and they absolutely loved it.
In 2014, Bob and Cindy took it a step further and created Hearts of Surfing. And then they wanted to make sure that it was a little bit larger and a little bit bigger than that. And so then they have been doing that since 2014 in a more organized level, and it keeps growing and to what we are today. And so it's been going on Saturdays throughout the summer for several years now, but now there's a lot more events throughout the year that really bring families together. We are in traditionally the South Jersey area, Ocean City, Atlantic City, Margate, Sea Isle, Wildwood. They're coming now from all over. People coming from the Philadelphia area, having people come down from Pennsylvania, North Jersey, Delaware, all for a quick day trip to get the opportunity to ride the waves.
So aside from the waves and catching the waves and experiencing the ocean, some of the kids for the very first time, there was a lot of camaraderie, friendships, relationships built, not only with the people on the spectrum, the autism spectrum, but also with the families.
It really is a family. It is about him surfing and he gets to meet his friends, but it's also, as the parents, we get to, we are on the shoreline and we get to see each other every week, and it's a community for us as well.
It's a nice social network for our kids with special needs, and it's actually a nice social network for the parents. We get to network and talk about some of our frustrations and our highs and lows of parenting a child with special needs.
And you just get to share stories and conversations, and it's a place where you feel your son or daughter's totally accepted.
It's 100% volunteer driven. Everyone here is here because they have a heart for it. They want to be here. They want to make a difference in the world and make someone's day.
I'm a pediatric physical therapist, and I surf and live at the beach. So this just meshes everything that I love together, and I just love Heart of Surfing because the kids can come out every week and they actually learn to surf.
I have a tattoo of the Heart of Surfing, so you could say I wear my heart in my sleeve, but that's how much this group has meant to me. It's how much it's given me. I try to say it without crying, but it's really means a ton. To be able to come down and do this every week.
We had a tragedy in 2020. We lost our son that we started the program for, Jamie. We lost him at the beginning of the pandemic to a seizure, and it was, obviously like a tragic, horrific, worst thing that could ever happen to a person. And in the midst of that, we didn't really know if the program would continue, but we did decide that the best way we could honor our son's legacy is to be here and to be doing this. So this is what we do.
I'm glad Cindy and Bob kept this going after their son Jamie had passed away, and they continue to do it, and it allows me to show up, And I just love the fact that it's free. Just like freely give, freely receive. That's what I love about this group the most. So
for the kids to be here, meeting other kids, being in the water, someone encouraging them every step of the way makes for a great experience. And that's our mission. Our mission isn't to create great surfers. Our mission is to create a safe, positive experience every time.
It feels amazing. You feel the heart like pumping. You see your friends cheering on for you. It makes me super happy.
Joining us in the studio is community reporter Chinchilla Jonicia in conversation with Michael Grant, who was wrongfully incarcerated for 17 and a half years for crimes he did not commit. His sentence was overturned, then later retrialed. Welcome to the studio, Michael and Chinchilla.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chinchilla Jonicia, the Queen of Justice. Welcome, Michael. How are you this evening?
Still living the dream.
All right. It's so great to have you here at the studio here at PhillyCAM. Now, let's talk, Michael. You were wrongfully incarcerated for 17 and a half years for crimes that you did not commit. Your sentence was overturned in July of 2023.
Yeah.
But however, you were not released until January 4th of 2024, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then on top of that, you were retried in October of 2024.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about that because your case is something unusual. Usually when someone's case is overturned, they usually don't retry them. They'll say, well, we may retry you, but they usually don't. But however, they did retry you, and, disturbing to me is when I was in the courtroom for day one of that retrial, which was just a fiasco. It was just craziness. But let's talk about your wrongful conviction. Why were you wrongfully incarcerated? What were you convicted of?
So, December 29th, 2006, I was shot in an attempted robbery at about 10 o'clock at night. I went to the hospital. I gave them my ID. They took my clothing, all my property. They called a police officer who came maybe 4 hours later. After I had been treated, I was sedated. I gave him as much information as I could, which wasn't really a lot. Okay. And he decided that I fit the description of an attacker from earlier in the day. Maybe 4 hours prior to my incident, there was a carjacking and robbery, which involved two assailants, a complainant, and a police officer who was off duty and gave chase. The attacker that I was supposed to be was described as 5'4", 140 pounds, and dark skin. And this officer decided that I fit that description.
Yeah.
Which hilarity ensued. I spent the next 17 years proving it wasn't me.
Jeez. And everybody, misidentification of witnesses. When witness misidentify who they're saying they saw commit a crime, this is like the top of the line for wrongful convictions, because someone say, oh, well, I saw so-and-so and commit this crime, and the description totally did not match you whatsoever. And in the courtroom on the retrial, the guy said, oh, yeah, he was dark-skinned, and your defense attorney said, well, who does he look like? What complexion? Right. And he pointed to your attorney, like, who is dark-skinned. Michael is clearly not dark-skinned. He asked, well, what was the guy's build, that attacked you? What was his build? And again, he pointed to your defense attorney, right. And you're totally not the same build.
No, not
and
at all. I wish I was.
Tell everybody, how much did you weigh at that time when they arrested you, Michael?
So at the time of my arrest, I was weighed 2 days later at CFCF. I was 353 pounds, and I'm 5'10".
And so that's just horrible. And right then and there, the case should have been thrown out. They should have dropped all charges because you did not fit the description. Right. But yet they still proceeded with prosecuting you and all of that. And you didn't go to trial until when?
I went to trial nearly 2 years after the incident. And by then, they had cobbled together coerced witnesses, fabricated statements. Wow. They actually fabricated a whole second eyewitness who was noticeably absent during my retrial, because the moment they would have put him on the stand, he was going to get eviscerated.
Yeah.
The detectives on the case, none of them testified. during my retrial, which you know, I was adamant to Emeka Igwe, my attorney, that I wanted to be able to cross those detectives.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, who were the detectives that were on your case?
One, James Doherty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Detective James Doherty.
Jeez.
Coerced witnesses. One of the witnesses he coerced, he didn't actually testify, which was weird because he put witnesses on the stand. And one of those witnesses admitted on the stand at my initial trial that he threatened to take my son away from me and put me in jail.
Wow.
That was one. And Detective David Ty. Detective David Ty, who I actually ran into upon my release while I was waiting to be retried.
Okay.
And he had no idea who I was.
Wow.
And what David Ty did, they have my arrest report shows that I was under arrest an hour before the photo array, which was allegedly shown, and this was the arresting information. All the arrest reports, property receipts, everything shows I was actually under arrest an hour before they even printed that array.
Wow.
And so with him not knowing who I was, he allowed me to interview him on video and ask him, you know, if the arrest time shows. And afterwards I said, well, let me introduce myself, Michael Grant. And his whole face just dropped.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, your case, you should have never been behind bars, Michael.
I definitely should have never been.
A wealth of evidence to prove that you were not the one that committed the crime. And with the victim on the stand, that was just totally crazy with his testimony. And that right there proved that, hey, you were not the person that committed that crime. So during that retrial, they dropped all the charges against you. And did they give you a full exoneration?
Well, no, they didn't drop any charges. I was found.
They didn't drop any charges?
I was found not guilty of everything. So that's as pure of an
Yeah, right. And so that's a great thing. Because it should have never happened at all. Should have never happened. And unfortunately, everybody, again, wrongful convictions, they take place every single day in this country. Men and women are being railroaded into wrongful convictions. And unfortunately, it's so quick for them to convict you wrongfully. And it takes so long to have your conviction overturned because men and women have spent decades upon decades upon decades behind bars wrongfully. And it's just a shame, everybody. And again, Pennsylvania is one of 11 states now that do not compensate the men and women that they have wrongfully incarcerated. And that's a disgrace. Michael, I wish we had more time, but I want to definitely, now listen, everybody, Michael, he got a chance to vote for the very first time in his life last year, 2024. And also, he got married last year, 2024, and he has a brand new baby that was born March 23rd of this year. So let's show those photos of that beautiful baby, Noor.
Will do.
Thank you so much, Michael, for joining me in the studio today. We appreciate you coming in. And now, back to Veda.
Thank you for tuning into this episode. You can also watch our show on YouTube and Roku. And follow us at PhillyCAM on Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you next time.